Hello, my name is David Rowan. I'm an astrologer and teacher of astrology, and the purpose of this video is to give you some information about a new online astrology course that's going to be starting in July 2011. I've been teaching astrology in small groups for about 20 years now, and quite typically between 6 and 12 people will meet in a room once a month, and we'll explore astrology and the nature of our own lives through the lens of this ancient craft. And the technology has now progressed well enough to be able to offer this online, so that people in the UK who live far away from my home in Wiltshire, and also people around the globe, can learn this particular way of looking at astrology. And my reason for saying that is that astrology isn't a science. Astrology is more like an art form. The creation of an astrological chart is scientific. It involves numbers, in a similar way that the creation of a musical manuscript involves science in a sense, because you've got periods of time dissected into small measures, and there are sounds on, of different harmonic variables, and that creates melody, harmony, rhythm, etc. So a musician interprets the manuscript in the same way that an astrologer interprets the chart. 10 different musicians would interpret a piece of written music in a different way in their own style, and likewise 10 different astrologers would interpret a chart in their own way in their own style. So when a person's looking for an online astrology course or a teacher of astrology, it's not just a question of finding someone who's good at what they do. It's also, for you, a question of finding someone who delivers the astrology in a kind of fashion that enables you to learn best, because we all hear things differently, which is one thing an astrology chart will show you. So I thought that, as well as having the web page with the written information, I'd produce this very short video just to give you a chance to see what I look like, get an idea of how I sound, and whether or not, in your opinion, you feel comfortable enough with me that you think, yes, I'd like to give this a try. And that's exactly how it's going to begin. The professional course that I teach is very deep and very thorough. We explore the dynamics of the human condition through the lenses of astrology and through the lenses of our own lives. A precursor to that, though, a prelude, I guess could be considered to be the introduction. So in order to give people a chance to test the water, find out if this subject is for you, find out if I'm, as a teacher, and for you, and also to find out whether or not this medium of learning online rather than in a class suits you. So I've decided to take the first section of the course, which looks at astrology in a general sense, a bit of its background, and what an astrological chart is, and then builds it up from the beginning as a standalone, separate introduction course in its own right. So that a person can do the introduction, and there's no obligation whatsoever at all to go on and do the full professional course, although you can if you wish. So it can be seen as a standalone thing. Now, how it's going to run is every Sunday for about 15 weeks, the introduction class to astrology will be held. You have to register and sign up to join, and all these details will be on the web page. And there are various payment options as well, so there's an opportunity to have some discounts and things like this. Once a person decides to do this, there's a registration form that you have to complete as well, and then you have to select which of the classes you wish to join. Because different people live in different time zones, I decided to run the same class, but only to repeat it 3 times on a particular day. So once you've decided whether or not you want the early one, the middle one, or the later one in the day, that's then your class that you're in, because we'll have a group dynamic. Now, what will happen is that through the introduction, I can see all of you. You can see me, obviously, and because it's just an introduction and we're not looking at our own personal lives, but if anybody wants to be able to remain visually anonymous, then let me know, and I'll be able to select the screen so that no one can see you. So, you don't have to brush your hair or anything like that before we start doing the cast. On the professional course, that would be a different matter because we'll be discussing deeper issues, and so it's only polite that we can, communicate more fully. But for the introduction, I think it'll be absolutely fine, even if everybody wanted to remain visually anonymous, so everyone can hear you, but I'm the only person that you can see. So once you've selected your class, we'll begin in July. The classes will be held for 2 hours. Ordinarily, I would teach in a whole day. So what I've decided to do, because looking at a screen for a couple of hours is long enough before people need to fidget and move around. So it makes the introduction longer, but at the same time, it's possibly more accessible. So 2 hours on a Sunday, astrology. And it's designed for both people who've done astrology for a while and also for complete novices as well. It's going to look at astrology from the foundations up. So what is a sign? Why do these symbols look like this? Is that just a random symbol? Or does it mean a particular thing? The symbols of the planets, are they just wiggles and squiggles that someone decided to make them look a certain way? Or does their shape, does their pattern hold some kind of logical structure? So I like to teach astrology in a way that people do not need to remember it, because I think that we never forget what we understand. We forget things if we assign them to memory. And when we're under pressure, our memory can let us down. You see this on quiz shows. People are asked, very simple questions. There's a quiz show in the UK. The quiz master said, "With what part of an egg do you make a meringue?" And the person went, "The inside." Now, if you were live on TV with 8 million people watching you, 400 people in a studio audience, cameras, lights and things, your brain would shut down as well. Mine would. So when we're pressured, our memory becomes something that we can't access so easily. However, if astrology is explained in such a way that you understand it, so that the signs of the zodiac, the houses, the planets aren't just random things that you've got to do memory tests to be able to kind of get under your skin, but that you can understand the structure of them so clearly that when you look at them, you can rebuild the interpretation from fresh. A little bit like, you can do a mathematical sum by remembering the possible answers to every mathematical sum that could ever exist, or just learn how to add, subtract, multiply and divide. So once you understand the formula, you can create the answer anew each time. So in that sense, you don't have to rely on your memory. It's a much better way of knowing. It's slightly slower, but it's much more thorough. And I like the idea that if you look at astrology and you're at a dinner party or something, and someone says, "Someone did my chart a while ago," and they just produce a birth chart out of the blue in the middle of the dinner party, and everything goes hushed, look, you're then able to look at it and at least find something to say, and it's easy. So the idea of the introduction is to explain what astrology is, not necessarily looking at the history of astrology, but to see whether or not history can be looked at through the lens of astrology. We'll discuss some of the tenets of what astrology is based on, things like fate and free will. Are we puppets, being scripted by some external consciousness, or do we have free will? And if we have free will, then why are we looking at astrology? If we're puppets and we don't have free will, then why are we looking at astrology? So these kind of issues need to be debated, and we'll discuss those in quite a lot of depth. So in the introduction part, it will begin very lightly, and by the end of the introduction, you'll have a very good foundation of what a planet is, what a chart is, what a sign of the zodiac is. The lines in the middle will be explained to a certain extent as well, and you'll also understand the houses. And at that point, if you wish to proceed and dig deeper into astrology as a topic, then with me, then you're perfectly welcome to do so. I'm going to keep this introduction part short because Facebook and YouTube only allow you to load in very short video clips. So have a look at this. In a moment, you'll see a very brief demonstration of astrological software, which will give you a bit of an idea of what the screen may look like. So during the class, at times you'll just see me. At other times, your screen will change to looking at my desktop, and we'll look at an astrological chart. or various images and pictures and things which help to explain the things that we're discussing. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to write to me, David Rowan. My email address is astrology@davidrowan.co.uk, or you can access contact details via the website, which is www.davidrowan.co.uk, and I look forward to exploring this fascinating and ancient art with you. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Hi there. This is just a demonstration of one of the screens that we'll look at through the introduction course, and most certainly in the professional course if you choose to do that as well. And this is Solar Fire, a professional astrological software, and we have various ways of being able to look at charts through this. So for example, we can this is an astrological chart of right now. So you can see there it's the 4th of June 2011, and this is the chart of the moment in doing this demonstration. Here we have the chart itself, which has the signs of the zodiac in the outside ring, the houses in the middle with the planets positioned in the houses, and within this circle there are lines, and these are called aspects in astrology, and they represent the angular relationships between planets. And the triangular grid on the left-hand side of the screen symbolizes these lines so that we can see them clearly. And you can do all kinds of things with Solar Fire. For example, if you want to have a look at how things will be a bit later on today, we can click this onto hours. And then as we progress forwards, if you look at this guy here, Saturn, this kind of red cross with a squiggle beneath the bottom of it, you'll notice that as we go forwards through the day, so it's 1900 hours and then 2000 hours and so on, you'll see Saturn passes the middle of the sky there and then comes all the way around, and it's going to set in the similar fashion that the sun sets at the end of the day. So if you watch Saturn here, I'll just put it on an automatic thing, and that will carry on running while I just finish. So one of the advantages of having this kind of software means that during the course there'll be times when I'm talking to you, there'll be other times when I want to show you an image, or maybe look at a graphic. All of these symbols in this chart have particular meanings, so we'll explore the meanings of these things, and occasionally we'll look at a chart itself. And there's as Saturn just dips down below the horizon there, this demonstration will come to an end because we're pushed for time. But I hope you enjoy the course, and if you have any questions, please write to me, davidrowan.co.uk, or info@davidrowan.co.uk if you wish to contact me by email. Thank you very much indeed for your time.